Like Nairobi made me tougher. I remember coming back and even feeling like, guys, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we moving? Like the place is slow.
Fiona Kemi is a Ugandan lawyer turned content creator and entrepreneur. She's the co-founder of Khama Digital and co-host of the Unpopular Opinion podcast.
All of my things revolve around content.
A creative who boldly transitioned from law into digital media.
Law was never truly a passion for me. I never truly loved it. I remember this one semester, I even told myself, let me see what would happen if I actually liked this course. And I just pretended I liked it for a semester. And I was on Dean's list at one time.
She openly shares about how business was baptism by fire, losing her savings on her first important venture, but walking away with lessons that reshaped her financial mindset.
How much did you spend to bring this stuff in?
7 million Uganda shilling.
Yeah.
But when I tell you, I did not see a single profit.
She reflects on the firstborn pressure, balancing personal ambition with the responsibility of caring for her family and learning the importance of asking for help.
So I'm a firstborn. So even when I'm feeling overwhelmed, it doesn't occur to me to ask for help.
This is Fiona Kemi's story. It will give you a glimpse into the financial life of a content creator in Uganda.
Hey guys, this is Barack from Financially Incorrect. I am here to say thank you so much for the 50k plus people who have subscribed to Financially Incorrect. We really do appreciate you. When we crossed 50k, we had a nice, small, intimate party at our offices, and we celebrated this milestone. I have convinced the powers that be that if we can get to 100k by December, we will throw a big party to celebrate with all of you guys. And now we have 3 different segments for you guys to watch. There's Financially Incorrect Business Edition, Financially Incorrect Uganda Edition, and Financially Incorrect the regular Kenyan edition. So please do, if you like our content, subscribe. If we get to 100k by December, we will throw the biggest party in East Africa. So please do subscribe.
Hey everybody, welcome to yet another episode of Financially Incorrect Uganda Edition. I am your host, Barack, and of course we are shooting at it's Tagora Living, right?
Yep.
We are shooting at Tagora Living, a fantastic Airbnb that has given us the access and the opportunity to be able to get this done. I will leave the link in the description box for you guys to be able to find it. The apartment number is actually 7C, but they're fantastic. It's great. Aesthetic is amazing. And of course, they've allowed us to shoot. So they are fantastic people and aces in my book. I have another money story for you guys. Like I keep saying with every other episode, please do let me know in the comment section or on Twitter or on Instagram via DM, whatever the case is, who else you'd like us to interview in Uganda. We should be back here towards the end of the year, and we'll try and get a couple more interviews for you guys and bring a bunch more money stories. The more you guys watch, the more I can be able to convince the money people that we should come and take as much content as possible and be able to release this weekly as opposed to 2 times a month. But I'm here, so I have another money story for you today, and it's coming from none other than, I'm going to get this name right, none other than Fiona Kemigisha. Did I get it right?
Good try. It's actually,
Good try.
Anybody who's foreign will say Kemigisha, but it's
Kemigisha. Kemigisha. Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to Financially Incorrect.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are you excited about talking about money?
I'm excited now. Initially, when I was asked, I was like, what do I have to share about money? Like, I'm not a money expert.
Right.
But then I was like, no, it's stories though. Yeah, I have a story. So yeah, now I'm excited.
Can be able to say like a thing or two.
Yeah. I think I'll have something valuable to share.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you love most about your country?
It's funny because, just before we started, I was saying how the restaurants here can be disappointing.
Right.
But actually, I love the food here. We really do have the most fantastic food. Like, just the food that grows out of this ground is wild to me. Mm-hmm. Every time I go anywhere else, I'm like, the bananas don't taste the way bananas taste. This doesn't, nothing tastes the way it does here. Yeah.
That's your favorite thing about Uganda.
At least one of. I can't say it's my top.
Okay, give me 2 or 3 that, come to mind. So the food.
People generally are quite warm. Generally, we're hugging people. I don't know, there's a warmth that we have. I think it's just in our way of being. And then, no, you know what? Those are the 2. Those are my 2 favorite things.
The people and the food.
Yep.
I think, interestingly, there's someone else that asked that question, and that was the answer.
Is it?
The people and the food, yeah. It wasn't on the podcast, though, but it was, I believe it's the guy who was giving us the cab that we took from the airport to come here. Yeah. And I think he said the same thing. So there must be something in it, right?
Right?
Okay. So are you a full-time content creator now?
Oh, do you know, I never know how to say yes to that, even though it's actually true. Yeah,
Why do you struggle with it?
I think I struggle with it because, first of all, it's not really a thing here like that. When you say, people are like, oh, she's just a slave queen who's getting money from somewhere else. So I struggle saying it because I'm like, oh, wow, I'm actually now, if like all of my things revolve around content, whether it's our business at Khama Digital or me, Fiona Kemi, or the Unpopular Opinion podcast, everything I do is around content creation. So I'm actually a full-time content creator. I never say that out loud. It's even weird saying it now.
Yeah.
But there you go.
What did you do before becoming a full-time content creator?
Oh, that's a story. How much time do we have?
We have time. We have time.
I've done a couple of things. So I studied law.
Okay.
Everything. I even did the bar.
Okay.
In Nairobi, which is why I lived in Nairobi for 2 years.
Okay.
So I've always considered that my other home.
Did you pass the bar the first try?
Yeah. Wait. Yes. So you know why I stopped? Because I had a retake, but then I passed.
Oh.
But yeah, I
A
passed.
remark or a re?
I had a remark.
And then
No, I resat a paper.
okay, and you passed. Oh, so you were like me. I had one fail as well, and I had to resit the paper. Okay.
So did that.
What subject was it?
It was criminal.
Okay, mine was civil litigation.
I think it was criminal. I even remember exactly what made me fail. Have you ever come out of a paper and know that you won't fail? I knew I was going to fail criminal because I didn't. There was like, I was trying to draft things and then I didn't finish drafting something. I'm like, well, that's that. Going to fail that paper. Let's move on. I knew it.
Okay, but I mean, still, first try. So 8 P's, as they'd say those days. That's a win. That's a win for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So you studied law.
Okay, did law. When I was in Nairobi, I can't say I practiced actually because I was doing pupillage. And then, so when I finished my pupillage, I came back here and worked in government. Not briefly. I was in government for maybe 4 years, 4.5. And during that, it just wasn't for me. It's not like the place was horrible. It just wasn't for me. And so I remember joining and knowing that I'm giving it a 5 years max. Because when I looked around, I was like, oh my God, when you stay here more than 5 years, odds are you're not leaving. So I said, I must leave. I don't know where I'm going, but I'm going to figure it out. So that's somewhere in there said creating content just to, like as an outlet. I've always liked writing. Haven't written in a while now, but I always enjoyed writing back then. And so I had a blog, I was on WordPress, the whole shit. Tumblr. Do you remember Tumblr?
I remember Tumblr.
Do you?
I do. I do vaguely, but I do. Yeah.
I was writing. I was enjoying writing and it was just fun.
What did you write about?
I wrote about hair. I know, odd. Yeah, but I've always really enjoyed hair. I don't know, as long as I can remember, just doing hair felt like something fun for me. Like, oh, what fun ways can we style hair? And so when like the natural hair movement actually was a movement, I was in there. I was like front and center, ready, let's go. Because it wasn't just hair though, it was also identity. And so I was writing about hair, just writing about hair care, about how I felt it connected to my identity as an African, as a Ugandan, as a woman. And I can't say it caught on in a crazy way. I had like my little audience who were just kind of into it. And so did that sort of on the side. And then someone offered, me a little gig. I always remember because she was the first person that reached out to me to do something. There's a local business called Talia Froze. And she said, we're doing hair extensions for natural hair. Do you think we could do a thing together? Or you can have like a code and you'll get like a commission. I'm like, are you serious? I only see American creators doing that stuff. I was like, okay, I'll do it. And so I did that. I remember my first video, my account got hacked, so I don't have that old content.
Oh no. Yeah.
So I wish I could show people how that began. I had a blurry little video and I did a little tutorial but that's what led to this though. That just kind of built up. A couple of more people wanted to work with me. I'm like, oh, I need to get serious. This could actually be something. And then I decided that I was going to leave my job. It was a COVID year. What year was that? 2021?
21.
I think it was 2021. Probably. And so, yeah, I had been saving up because, it felt like a big girl thing to do. Save up some money because you need to pay rent and other things as you figure out this thing. And I'd kind of found, I can't say I'd found stability, but I felt like I had a plan. But I didn't consult anyone about that plan, which was my first and biggest mistake. I was like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And this money is going to go here. And this money is going to go. But I didn't talk to anyone. And yeah, so then I left the job. I resigned and, just ventured out to do this content creation thing.
And here you are now.
And listen, a lot of things have
Right.
a lot of mistakes have been made.
Right.
2025, here we are.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was the main reason why you left the law practice? I mean, was it purely because you had given yourself that 5-year plan, or are there elements within law that you didn't like?
Law was never truly a passion for me. I never truly loved it. I'm a firstborn, and I can't even tell you that Ati, my parents were standing over me telling me do law, but there was like significant and like there was a clear pressure for me to go in that direction. I still remember when we were, I can't remember how old I was, but I remember we had like this gathering with other, like my mom's friends and aunties and stuff like that. The Banyaranda community in Uganda is really close. So we had like little gatherings we used to do. And so they'd ask you, they'd just kind of like try to mentor us and ask us questions about what we wanted to do. And I remember very clearly saying I wanted to do advertising. Can't even tell you why that, for some reason, that always felt like something I could do well. And I think because my mom wasn't there when I said it. So I think later they told her, Ash came and sat me down and said, advertising. Advertising. So yeah, I was like, oh my God, so you mean this is not a real career? Like, it felt like it wasn't a real thing that people do. And so I guess law was a real thing that people do. And it was really more of a, I guess this is what I do now. And so I did. But I never really had a deep interest. I remember, just being in law school and feeling like I was always really good at school. I was, like top 10, right? But I cared so little about law. I was always just like mediocre. I remember this one semester I even told myself, let me see what would happen if I actually liked this course. And I just like pretended I liked it for a semester. And I was on Dean's list at one time. I was like, oh damn, I really don't like this. I don't care about this thing. But I did it and I finished it and I did the bar. And I think the older you get, the more aware you are of yourself. It just became more and more clear to me that this is not a thing I wanted to do. I could do it, but did I want to? No. And I just had like a leaning towards, maybe it's creativity, but I just had a leaning towards, can I do something? Can I be of service? But how can I be of service if I'm doing something I really have no, I don't know, that, it just, so I knew somewhere down the line, I'm going to be done with this. I don't know how, because parents have paid for 1,000 years of school.
Right, to make it happen.
I'm going to do it.
Okay. So as we start with your money journey or your money story, you've mentioned how, I guess in passing, how even when you were planning to leave the law space, you were saving up.
Yeah.
Where did that culture come from? Was that something you were taught as a child? Was it something that was in your household?
It's interesting. Like I feel like that's like a whole thing now. So I'm a firstborn. So there's always been like a feeling of responsibility of like, how can I manage things responsibly? And I can't even say it's because of necessarily pressure. I feel like even as a firstborn, you start to like, you just carry yourself a certain, you're like, oh, no, I need to like do this well and do that well. I have siblings and my parents and people need to be proud of me. There's like a thing it's almost self-imposed in many ways. So I always felt like I needed to be responsible with things. And my earliest memory of saving is, having like the two wooden boxes, the other ones that you break. So I had one of those, and it was, I don't even know why we go there. I guess my parents were just like, oh, we'll get a box and you can put some coins in there every now and then. We didn't have much. Our parents were paying for everything, but every now and then when I got a coin here and there, I would put it in there. And then I remember the time when we broke it, it was so exciting that there was money in there.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, wow, what do we do with it now?
Yeah.
And then you're like, let's buy sweets. That's, your priorities as a child. And then it was from that first box that I realized that, I should keep whatever I have because I can just put it somewhere and maybe later I can buy a thing that I like. Like it was like that delayed gratification felt exciting to me. Obviously I didn't have a name for it, but it's like, it's nice when you put your money somewhere and then one day you can do something with it. Right. And so I just kept on doing it little by little. I remember even now, my mom always says, you were always a kid who saved money. But I didn't really have like a plan, like a clear plan that I'm saving for 1, 2, 3. I just been like, if I save it, one day I'll want a thing, and then I'll
be able to have
a place where I can get the money from.
Right.
So there was just like that general, okay, this is how I be responsible with my money, I can put my coin somewhere, and then one day I just have money to use to do a thing. So I think that just kind of picked up as I got older. I just kept doing it.
I mean, it sounds like that's something that was almost just innate for you. Did you? I mean, was it not? Is it not something that you watched your parents do, or behaviors you watched them have and copied? It was just in it. What were they doing that was so different?
I think when I think back, I tried to think back to what was my first thought about money. My first thought about money was it's something parents deal with. Like my parents deal with money. They pay for things, they buy things, they take care of us. I didn't really feel like I had a part in it, So I didn't know what they do. I just know I just knew that they work really hard. Like these people work hard for me to have things, and I still remember there were a couple of trips. I think there were two in particular. There was one where I think my school was going to, I was an arty kid. I was always dancing or singing or doing something like that. And so our school was going to China. There was some kind of big festival and a competition. And so I was on the list and all these things. And I remember how difficult it was for my parents to tell me that they couldn't afford it. And even now, when I think back to that moment, I realize that we underestimate how much kids understand. Because I understood, I remember having a very clear understanding that, they can't afford it, and I can see how bad they feel. And I was like, oh my God, what can I do so that they don't feel bad? I get it. I actually understand that they don't have this, and I'm good. But I could see how much it hurt them. And so I think that started for me a bit of a fear around money. So you can have it, but also kind of not have it. I was like, that's money is weird. So I started to have a bit of a fear of maybe we should just keep it. And then it's just there. And then when we need a thing, we can go back and get it.
Yeah.
So it started a fear for me around money. I just remember even after that, I just kept on feeling but do we have money? Oh, okay. No, we have. Cool. And then when I have it, I'm like, so now I should keep it, right? So even spending was weird for me. I could spend on something, but sometimes it was easier for me to be I'm going to pass. And to other people, it seems wow, you're so wise with your money. But no, I'm afraid. I'm if I spend this money, what's going to happen next? Maybe I'll just spend a little and then keep the rest. So it was actually, now I can see it was pretty unhealthy. It was just fear.
Did that then influence anything in regard to relationship with your parents? Did you now not tell them about certain trips or not tell them about certain things because you didn't want that situation, or you didn't want them to feel bad, or
Oddly enough, it didn't. I've always had I think a natural, there's some things we come into the world with, I feel. Some things we learn and are nurtured or whatever, but there's some traits you kind of just have. I've always had a confidence to me. So I would still tell them. I never ever felt I couldn't share a need with them. I would, of course, understand it because there were such few moments. I still remember them. I think there must be 3 exact instances that they couldn't afford something. And I remember just feeling so, I know, I get it. Actually, you don't have this and it's fine. And I think that's even where my understanding of, some people are actually really rich. I said, I looked around at my friends, I'm some of these people are really rich.
Yeah.
I'm oh, wow. Some of you guys have a lot of money like that. So I never felt I couldn't tell them things because I feel they always created an environment where you could go to them and say, I need this, I don't have this. It was never, I don't know, there was just never that insecurity that I can't tell them. Especially with my dad, I think because, provider things, it could always be these are my needs.
Yeah.
I know that he'll do his best.
Yeah. Did you, because I've chatted with a couple of people and different people have said, I've responded differently to their parents not being able to afford certain things. And for some people, they then get this drive of, I'm going to make all the money in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work really, really hard so that I can afford everything. Did that happen for you?
Not all at once. It kind of was progress. Because even now, I struggle with the word ambition because I don't know, I guess when we were growing up, it kind of sounded negative. I don't know why. Because I'm definitely someone who pursues things. I'm I'm going to do this. I'm going to pursue it well. But I don't know, it just didn't happen all at once. I was just I need to work hard and do well for myself and take care of my parents, the usual. But did I feel like, oh my God, now I need to go and take over the world? Not really. I felt like I'm going to take steps to get me where I need to get. And remember, there was like that underlying fear. I remember even just the first time I had an account, it always gave me anxiety to know that maybe I need to go to the bank to do something. Or I see the bank has called me. I'm like, geez, now what? What now? What is there like a problem? Like, I would always go to like a worst case scenario in my head. The bank was uncomfortable. I didn't like entering banks. I didn't like having conversations about things about the money and where it needs to go. I just want to earn my money and it's there. And I'm paying rent and I'm doing the things. I'm just moving. Yeah.
There's something you made that I think is interesting. I want to ask you about, because you said, I want to work hard, I want to make money, and I want to take care of my parents.
Yeah.
Which I find interesting because, for example, like for me, I don't necessarily think about taking care of my mom in that way. So it's not like one of the first things that comes. So it's like, yeah, work hard, make money, take care of my family, like my wife, my daughters.
Yeah.
And even before they were there, I cannot say that, like one of my first thoughts were take care of my mom. Yeah. Where is that from? How are you conditioned to think that way?
That's interesting because now you're making me think, where does that come from? I think it might just come from like just expectations of a firstborn in a way. I don't know even now. And also I don't have a family yet. So maybe it's easier for me. When I think of family, they're the first people I think of. I don't have like, a husband and children. So I think of them first. So I'm always just thinking, my dad is retiring soon. And all of a sudden I'm like, what things can I do to just help them generally? They've never ever put me in a position to feel like I need to.
Or it's your responsibility.
But it feels like it's my responsibility because I'm also the firstborn. I don't know. There's these things we carry around as firstborns. And God forbid you're a firstborn daughter. I don't know. It just feels like there are things that need to be done. And I need to do them.
As someone who's a thirdborn or one of the last, why do you put that on yourself as a firstborn? Like, why is it your responsibility as opposed to saying, as siblings, we need to take care of my parents? You're saying, as a firstborn, I need to take care of my parents.
Yeah, I think it's a weakness somewhere, because I was recently talking to a friend who's a lastborn, and she was telling me how their firstborn was doing what I'm trying to what can I do? So now let me do this thing and let me do this thing and let me do this thing. And she's like, because their firstborn was doing that, she started, they got so comfortable. It just didn't occur to them to do stuff. They're just like, this is how we do things. I'm like, oh. She's like, yeah, so you guys do all these things. I saw we don't want to help, whatever. But then you're like, she's got this, So even when I'm feeling like maybe overwhelmed, it doesn't occur to me to ask for help. I don't know. It's just, and also maybe because I'm still single. My sister is married and has a family. So I'm like, no, she has things. And then my brother is a baby. Okay, he's not a baby. He's an adult, but he's 10 years younger than me.
Okay.
So I'm just like, man, he has literally just started. So now I'm like, now it must be me. It is a complex. It's honestly it's something to keep on working through, to keep stopping and be like, oh, do I need help now? Oh, I should ask people. And I can tell you that realization came to me, a year ago? I'm still figuring it out because it's my natural inclination to be like, oh, I need to do this. And what things can I do for people of my family to be okay? I think even when I think about being successful, it's one of the first things in my mind. I'm like, so then I'll be successful and I can be able to do 1, 2, 3. And I'm just trying to divorce myself from some of these things. Yes, I want to help them, but also for it to not be this is the thing, the thing that I'm working for, because it's actually not the thing.
Right.
Yeah.
One would hope. Okay. So, you've talked about wanting to work on the pursuit, your pursuit to work on things and get better, even though your drive isn't I want money now and I want all the money in the world.
Yeah.
But you do start your pursuit. So, how do you make the first bit of money for yourself? What's the thing that you do that you actually begin to interact with money?
Or you rephrase that question.
Essentially, what I'm trying to find out is how you start making money for yourself. Not money that your parents are giving you, but money that you're earning for yourself.
Okay. Let's see. When was the first money I ever made for myself? It must have been when I guess this counts. When I was doing an internship at uni. And I was getting I had a stipend I was getting every month. It was 400K maybe, Uganda shillings. That was the first money I got of my own. And again, because my mind was very fearful of, no, I would get it, put it in the bag, and just sit. Get it at the end of the month, put it in the bag.
You wouldn't spend it at all.
I mean, I would spend on like, oh yeah, let's go out and like here and there. I wasn't even been like a very outgoing, like let's go out person. So it wasn't really something I was interested in spending in. So, do something nice for myself here and there, do nice for my people, something nice for my people, and then just leave it at the bank. I don't even know what's doing at the bank. It used to give me anxiety when I would hear that, because I knew that they keep deducting the money for it sitting there. But I'm like, I'll just make more. Yeah, I'll just make more.
Yeah.
And then it would just sit there and leave it alone. So that was the first money I ever made for myself. I remember just being very excited about having my own money.
Yeah.
And I remember this one time, my friend, a girl I went to school with, was starting a business. I remember it was an online business, and we weren't even doing online businesses like that. She was just one of those people who were like ahead of her time. And she was selling sandals, African sandals, and she had a little website, like everything was like legit. And she wanted me to invest. And I was so confused. I was like, what does it even mean to invest? So like now if I invest, so then there'll be like a return at some point. Like even the conversation was so overwhelming for me. I mean, it never panned out into any. I did invest some money. I did invest some money. So I was like, no, I need to be forward thinking. But I didn't even know what I was doing. And again, I didn't even ask for advice. So after that happened, and it just that money just went. Let's say that money went. I was like, oh, so next time I should probably ask someone when I want to invest, because I didn't even know what that word meant.
Okay, fair enough. And so by this point in time, you were like in your second, third year in law school.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to ask a question, I guess, because I guess the first lawyer I've been able to come across, but I've heard this phrase about lawyers in Uganda, that they wear suits and look really good, but ultimately they are financially suffering. Is that a myth, or is that a truth?
As a person who didn't actually practice here, I don't know if I can properly speak to that. I never actually worked in a law firm myself here. Yeah. So I can't even speak to that, to be honest. I don't know.
You have friends, your friends who you went to school with.
I will say, like any traditional profession, it has like all this esteem that is attached to it. I mean, even just like the way you dress, and it has all this esteem attached to it. So it's easy for people to think that you're making so much more money than you actually are. I do think that's a fact. And of course, there's like, I think a little bit of pressure to show up in a certain way, because do people trust a lawyer who doesn't drive a Benz? All the lawyers in Kampala have Benzes. So maybe you're like, man, let me first buy my first Benz so people can trust me. So I do think it's easy to see like the esteem of the profession and think that people are making way more money than they are, which doesn't mean, of course, that there aren't successful lawyers. There are, yeah. But like, that's true though. That's true.
There's a perception to it that, okay.
Yeah, there's just like, ta-da, a lawyer.
Okay. All right. So when you finish law school, do you go immediately to Kenya School of Law, or do you wait for a bit, work for a bit? What's that journey like?
Let's see. So we finished law school. The first year, let's like kind of in that chill. Like, oh, what happens next? So obviously we all wanted to do LDC here, the bar here. It is infamously difficult. The pre-entry exam, I have to say, I don't know who sets that exam. I was like, what is happening? I was in law school for 4 years. But what is this? I didn't understand what we were doing. So the exam is infamously difficult. Some of our friends got in, I didn't get in. And so at first there was just like that pause of like, okay, didn't get in. What's next? And I was just kind of floating. I wasn't sure at that time. I didn't even know if I wasn't thinking about my creativeness. Just like, we are here now. I need a job in an office that pays me a salary. What do? I need to study something that can help me get there. And I remember toying with the idea of ACCA. Why? Which math do I know? Do you know? Anyway, you've done law. Like when you're doing accounts.
I know the KSL. I remember the KSL accounts.
Of accounts class.
Yeah.
It was like one person and we're all standing over them like, show us how to do the
balance sheet and I remember that chaos.
I don't know why I toyed with ACCA for a minute there. I think it's because it was very popular at the time people were talking about it. I considered it briefly and I was like, you're lying. And then the idea of KSL came up and I was like, okay, I guess I could try. And so I did.
And there's no pre-entry exam there.
No. At least there wasn't at the times.
No, I don't know if there is now, but
I don't.
I didn't have a pre-entry exam.
Yeah, no, me neither. Yeah, so we applied and we're okay. And so we got in and then we got there and we started doing the thing. I really didn't have a clear plan. I was just trying to, like guys are going to school. Oh, so like now we shouldn't go to school. And so when we got in a case, so we're like, okay, let's go to school. And what I will say is going to Nairobi, I feel like was in a way ordained for me. Like I was supposed to go. Yes, I may not have understood what I was doing with law, but like Nairobi made me tougher. It was the first time I lived away from home. And the way Uganda is, the way generally our culture is very different from Kenyan culture when it comes to things. Let me not say Kenyan, Nairobian, because I haven't experienced the whole of Kenya. But like when I went to KSL, I remember we were in a hostel and there were younger people there from university, people like from Kato and where. And for them, like they were so much younger than, well, not so much, but they were younger than us. And they've already left home. They're living by themselves. They're doing a business somewhere, this business. I'm selling flash discs. I'm doing this, nini. I'm like, wow. Here, for the most part, I feel like it's only now trying to change. But here, you're a young woman, you're living with your parents, you do school, and you're doing school, by the way, on its own. Not that you with a side thing and there's a business and what, you're just doing school. I'm not saying those people don't exist, but generally, the ideal situation is you're living at home, doing school, you finish school, you get your job, you stay with your parents until you are getting married, and then you leave your parents' house, So it, like, I feel like going to Nairobi ripped me from like these things that I know. So it challenged me to just become like a little bit tougher, a little bit more independent. I remember coming back and even feeling like, guys, why aren't we moving? Why aren't we moving? The place is slow because Nairobi is so quick. It's so like everybody's riding, which can be good and bad. But it made me just quicker. I can't even say that it necessarily taught me about money because at the time, my parents were taking care of me. The first money I made in Nairobi was when I was doing my pupillage because I was fortunate. Most people were barely getting a transport allowance. I was fortunate to get into like a really good farm that was paying us a decent allowance. I think every month they gave us 15 to 20K. I can't remember what it was exactly. Yeah. So guys were looking at us like we were rich. They're like, at your farm, they're giving you how much? Because guys were getting like 10K. If that. So that was the first time also that that was my first time to make money in like a new place. It felt very like, I was like, oh wow, I can do a thing away from my parents. Well, so
did you get a Kenyan bank account?
I did. I did. I did. I had a bank account in Kenya. Didn't have much on it, obviously, but I had one. That's what you do. You have a bank account and you have an ATM, and then that's it.
Here's why you should choose FX Plus if you're in Uganda. Tight spreads and low commission. Competitive rates, free educational resources, 24/6 customer support. Oh, and did I mention fast deposits and withdrawals? Check the link in bio to register now.
Okay. What was the I asked Malaika this, and because she also I guess went to studied in Kenya at some point. What was the biggest culture shock, if at all? There was one.
Two things. One was, and I don't want to misunderstand me, like I have friends and people I consider family in Nairobi. It's just, I was surprised. I don't know if you've experienced it here. Like we are, like our natural inclination is to hug people and to, like we're very, like, do you know what I mean? And Nairobians are not like that, like instantly. It takes time. So initially it felt cold. When I was first meeting people, I'm like, oh, this is a bit icy. Because here people, you meet strangers and you're hugging. You don't know them. And so initially it felt cold. I was confused. I was like, these people just not like us. But then over time, when you start to, it's just different. Like people take a while to get there with you. But here it's just like, hey, everybody's friends and we're just, family vibes. So that was surprising. And then that was the first place I went that I had never lived anywhere outside of Uganda. So it's weird, like when you've never lived anywhere else, you don't really realize that you have an accent until you live somewhere else. I feel like, so we start talking, they're like, are you Ugandan? I'm like, how do you know? And they're like, see your accent. I'm like, oh, we have an accent. That was surprising to me. I don't know, everywhere you went, people just knew, you're Ugandan. I was like, I didn't realize we sounded so distinct. So that was like a but food also was shocking. Yeah. The food here is just very different.
Yeah. Did you like it? Did you not like it?
I was surprised. I've always been like a very, I also I don't make quick judgments. So I was surprised, but I was like, let me give this a minute. And I tried to understand how things work here. And then over time, it's like, oh, no, people are actually nice. They just take a while. They're just more cautious.
Okay.
And I think it's because of the way the city is set up. It's just like very fast and everyone's trying to do something. And so people are not really, I guess like by the time they settle down to connect, it's just like,
It's
let's
after
see.
a couple of things. It's not the immediate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was, didn't hate it, didn't love it. I took a minute. I was just like, let me observe.
Okay.
Let's see.
All right. I hear that. What about from a money perspective? Is there anything that stood out for you that was different money-wise?
Yes. So going back to those university students we used to stay with in
Yes,
hostel.
those guys who are trying to make money.
I was like, I didn't know young people are chasing money like this. Because for us, we're just out here, our
You're
parents are
living
paying
your
for our
youth.
things. And we have our allowance from the law firm we're working at. I didn't know that people that age were like working like that. That was surprising to me. I remember thinking, oh wow, I need to move. Like that's not that Nairobi made me feel like, what? People have left me. Let me start also running. I need to start moving. So that was definitely that. Like I didn't know people that young were pursuing money that seriously.
aggressively, right.
Because listen,
It was
we were
announced
just chilling. Pocket
Okay.
money, let's go.
All right.
That's it.
Okay, cool. So you finish at the Kenya School of Law. You passed the bar. Do you sign the role of advocate?
I did.
Okay. So you signed the role of advocate. Was it COVID time? This was before COVID.
This was before COVID.
Okay. So sign the role of advocates, then come back here. Right. Okay. So what's the process coming back here, coming back to look for a job here? Is there pressure? And actually, if you can give me an estimate, how much money have your parents invested in your education at this point? If you're counting the 4 years, I'm assuming, of law school. Kenya School of Law, I think, by the time I was doing it, I think it must have been just under 200,000 Kenya shillings, that is.
My God.
So that much I know, but how much is, so what's the figure?
I need time. Like
Well, can you do for me 200 Kenya shillings into UGX? That's for KSL.
And then there's uni. And I'll be honest with you because, again, the way there was this thing of like your parents just take care of things. I can't tell you that I held a bank slip ever. School fees would just get paid. And I would go to school.
So do you even know how much is worth?
I know generally. I think because I was in a private uni, I was at UCU. I think at the time, oh Lord, what were we paying at the time? I think we must have been paying somewhere between, must have been like maybe 3 million per semester.
A semester.
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe.
We can use that average. And you're doing 2 semesters a year, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
What? Yes.
Yes.
Yes, we're doing 2
So that
semesters.
would be 8 semesters. That's 24 million. Then the KSL is 5.5. Okay. So it's about 30 million.
And then you add on, of course, like they were paying my rent in that
Right.
1 year of pupillage.
Right.
My rent was like 25K. I'm at 20,000. I was staying in a bedsitter in South Sea. Oh, I love that place. Yeah. So then there's that, like 20.
Okay. So like give or take, we can say maybe 50 million UGX. Okay. All right. So you have 50 UGX investment in you at this point.
Listen, and that's before all the other things.
So you come back to Uganda. What's the plan there? And is there pressure to now have a return on this investment?
No, let me start with the tail end. No, there wasn't any pressure. I feel like my parents were just trying to help me get into an office. Just how can we get you into an office? I don't know, because their idea of success was like that. You're in an office, you're stable, hopefully a government one, where you have a pension, okay, permanent.
Right.
That was the idea. That was the idea of success. And so I remember there was a time where I wanted to stay in Nairobi, but then I also had some pressure to come back. So there was a dance there. There was a lot of stuff that happened there.
What was it that you were fighting? What was it?
I just had really found home there. I was one of, actually me, because there were a number of Ugandans. So there were like a good number.
Usually, I didn't know there was a pre-entrance exam here because what year were you in KSL?
Let me see, I started KSL, was it like 2015?
I was there 2015. Yeah.
14th, 15th.
Anyway, so around about the same time. Anyway,
Roundabout.
so I remember there being a lot, and there was a good number of Ugandans, and I didn't. I guess it's not connected up until now that it's because of the pre-entrance exam.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't make it, then you come and do
like
KSL.
let me shoot my shot
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And also because common law, you're like, oh, see, I can go there and still come back and practice.
Right. Of course.
Yeah.
Okay. So you found home in Kenya.
I did. I
In
just
South Sea.
really, yeah, in South Sea. I was happy. I found friends. I liked the challenge that Nairobi offered me of just trying to do things on my own. Because honestly, my parents have just they carried us. Like they really just carried us through all of the things. And I liked having just being able to try and do something by myself. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to stay and I'm going to figure it out. Of course, and even then I understood that my parents were scared. They're like, no, we're just going to stay those days. I've explained to you the culture here is very different. It wasn't like over there, guys are telling me, yeah, I left my parents' home. I don't know how many years ago. The person you're talking to is 18. I'm like, what do you mean? What? Excuse me?
Yeah.
You know? Because here it only happens in extreme circumstances. Actually, someone lost their parents, kind of thing. So, yeah, I wanted to try and do something. I just wanted to try and see how I could make it work. And I love that it's near home. I was like, I can go back when I want. So there was some pressure there, go back, stay. And then I gave in, as was the pattern at the time. I just was not firm in a lot of things at the time. I said, okay, I'm going to go back. And so I got the job, the government job in the office. And I did not enjoy a single day of it.
What was the job? What was the role?
I think because it's slightly security leaning.
Okay.
I can't get into it.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a permanent
You are a
and
lawyer
appreciable job.
Okay.
Wearing a uniform and everything.
Okay.
So-
Okay. Awesome. What about the monies? What was the money negotiation like? Salary negotiation?
There was no negotiation. This is the salary of the government, okay? You're on this scale, you could get... Right. So our first, when we had just entered, what we were making was 500,000 to get shillings. In dollars, what is that? What's 500,000 in dollars? Is that
1,000 even given Kenya shillings. Okay.
Is that okay. Put in Kenya shillings.
Yeah.
It's not much. Okay.
17,900. Okay.
So peanuts.
You're right. $40.
Yeah.
Okay.
It did better. The allowance wasn't so bad. There was I don't know. It was kind of inconsistent as well. You know what? Let's not get it. But it was that. It was
What are the pay scales then? Because I know you've talked about being in a government. It's a government job, but what are the pay scales for working in the civil service or for the government of Uganda? What are the...
So I don't know what it is now because I've now been out of government for a while and I've just never checked since I left. But for me, who was entry level in that particular ministry I was working in, that scale was 500K. And then I think the people right above us were making maybe 800. And then the people after that were 1.2.
Uh-huh.
So salary is not much.
And 1.2 is your max growth. Are there positions above that?
Are there? I think so. Were there? Those are the ones I remember, to be honest. There must have been a level after that, the commissioner person. But even then, it wasn't a salary to be super excited about. So interestingly, the salary was little, but my major concern was just not enjoying the work and not being able to be of service. I was I didn't feel like I was serving truly. It just felt very, you flatline. And I remember talking to people. I remember in that first week talking to people who had been there longer than us, 10 years, 15 years. And they were literally in the same position that they were in 10 years ago.
Nothing had changed.
Never having had any significant training to bring you to the next level, never having been promoted, never having... And I was and they were comfortable. And I realized that I could get that comfortable. And that scared me.
What's the level of comfort? And I mean this, and again, financially leaning podcast. What's making you comfortable financially that's allowing you to stay there that would allow someone to stay there for so long? So like if you would have stayed there for that long, what's making you comfortable?
I think it's a couple of things. One, there's like, I realized like the people who had been there for a long time, that there was just that feeling of where else could I possibly go? Because again, you're not really getting any training that's, that when I apply to another place, they're going to be like, wow, they have done this, So there was just like, where else would I go though? So it was that almost giving up, like this is the only place I can be. So there was that. And then I think, I don't know how to put this delicately. I really don't know.
Just put it out. I read it.
I don't know. I'm like, these are tough times to just be jazzing things, but depending on the way that you choose to show up in a government job, there are people who are enjoying. Okay, you make certain decisions and you enjoy your life. Okay. Now, if you're not willing to make those decisions, it's a different life. So for the people who have taken that route and, made money in the ways that they've chosen to make money, because of course you have position, you have influence, you can influence how certain things move. And so you can find ways to make a living.
To make
for
an extra
yourself.
buck. Yeah.
Am I that person? No. But there are people who found comfort in, I can use this influence to then make money in other.
So it's not even so much from the salary you're living from, the position that you have within the government institution. You're allowed, or you're not, well, maybe not allowed, but you're able to influence and use color outside of the lines and make money.
Like a little bit.
Right.
And and some people can actually do that, and but I knew early on I can't. This is not the thing. I'm going to just it'll be a mess for me. Yeah.
So when do you make enough to move into your own space?
Let's see. So that was in year 4, and it was a COVID year, like the real COVID year when we were like in deep lockdown. Yeah, when we were in deep lockdown, had been saving for all that time, and I wasn't spending much because I was staying with my parents. Whatever, I wasn't spending much, so all my money was just going to my savings. And in that 4th year, we had the whole lockdown. At some point, we had moving privileges, but then after that, at some point, we were just completely out of it. But we were still receiving a salary, and I was like, now I'm at the point where I can pay rent for myself for like a solid 2 years. And I can take care of myself, not just rent, but I can do all of my things.
Based on how much you had saved?
Yes. I was like, I can do all of my things. And then, I had this plan for content that I'd never consulted anyone about. But I was like, this is how I am going to show up in content. And this is who I'm going to reach out to work with and all of the things. And I'm going to figure it out. And so in that 4th year, when I remember I was about to resign, but then got completely locked down, and then they were paying us. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to collect that money. And then resign right after. And then I did. At that point, I can't even I don't know how much exactly I had, like the actual figure. I honestly can't remember. But I remember just like doing the math of rent. There was a point at which I was like, okay, I'm not going to stay with my parents anymore. Again, Nairobi had just like taken over. I was a new creation. My parents are like, you're going to stay what? Alone? It's unusual here, more unusual than you would think if you live in Nairobi. But here, it's still something we're kind of catching on to. So, they were surprised, but okay, you're an adult. What are we going to do? So I was paying rent by that time. So I knew what my month looks like. At the very least, I knew that this is what it looks like for fuel, all of these things. 2 years.
You'd be good. Okay.
In 2 years, I would have figured it out.
Okay. You've talked about fuel. Did you buy a car, or were you gifted?
Did.
You bought a car.
I did.
So in the process of working, you were able to as well save enough and buy it.
Yeah, somewhere in there, got a car as well. Felt important. I don't know. Even now, I feel like it's one of my most meaningful. Like, I cannot call it an asset anymore. I've had it for quite a while. It doesn't. It's not super valuable, but it gives me a level of ease that I find
And
very
mobility,
valuable.
of course. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you've said this maybe 2 or 3 times, if not more, that it was such a bad decision, and I didn't consult, and I didn't this. Like, why was it such a bad decision? Why do you say that?
It's a bad decision because I never done business a day in my life, right? I'd been working in offices. I never done business a day in my life. I didn't know what it meant to make a proper plan for business. I'm just like, I will spend this and I will do this and then I will reach out. Like it was literally just like I don't even know what that is. But anyway, it felt like a plan to me at the time. And because I didn't ask anyone, I didn't know what it meant because at the time, because I was doing hair content, there was like a hair, what can I say? I wanted to create a business around that as well. So I was like, I was trying to see like, what kind of products are people looking for? What kind of tools based on my experience and, all these people I'm talking to now online, I have, an audience. This is what they're looking for. So I had like how you do like market research, but again, did I really know how to do market research? Did I? So everything was just kind of,
sprinkled, right?
So I did all that mediocre, not very well informed research and then put in money I had saved. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring in, because I was bringing some stuff from China. I was bringing, there were hair things. There was like the steam caps and a couple of other things. Now I can't remember all of them.
And you're bringing these to sell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bring them to sell, products to sell. And I had a whole membership structure that I'd sort of done, where you could like, you could sign up for a membership and you could get consultation around hair care. And then there was like a package that came with it, which had in some of those products, and there was a price. And in my mind, it was the math was making sense.
Okay.
For you to understand how little I understood, I still have some dead stock. It's 2025. I just kept it somewhere. I did not understand.
How much did you spend to bring the stuff in?
I spent somewhere around 7 million Uganda shilling.
Yeah.
Which was big. Let's remember.
Yeah. I mean,
what my salary was.
And you've resigned.
Yeah.
So you spent about 7 million. And did you factor in this 7 million in this budget, or were you taking money from your 2-year grace period?
No. I wasn't taking it from my 2 years. My 2 year was like 2 years. So the 7 million was separate. But when I tell you I did not see a single profit, I made back a little bit of it. And then, as I said, I even still have dead stock. I keep looking at it and I'm like, where am I going to put these things? I need to figure out where to put them.
Wow. Okay.
Because over time I realized even I wasn't interested in doing products. I was more interested in services. I learned as I went. It was a painful losses. Made was quite a bit of money there. I just remember being overwhelmed and thinking, why didn't I ask anybody for help? Like, why didn't I?
It's the firstborn thing.
I'm like, why didn't I ask people for help? There you go. I thought, yeah, I've got this. I can do the thing. This equals this. Boom. It's all making sense. I didn't know. But anyway, you know what? Business is baptism by fire sometimes. I said, okay, this has been my fire. It's probably not the last one. But yeah, wasted a lot of money. And then I went into sort of like a time where I was just hopeless. I felt like I've lost all the money I was going to do this thing with. So what's my plan? What's next? So I went where I know I just created. I just said creating to keep myself. Again, I had like that 2 years. I was like, okay, let me just create as I figure out what's going to happen next, because that failed.
Yeah.
Miserably.
How quick did it fail?
Oh, geez.
Because we know you have a 2-year window.
Let's see. That's like, I think like within the first, like almost in the beginning, there's a bit of momentum. Yeah, even like your low-hanging fruit, your friends, your family are supporting your thing. And then like within 4 or 5 months, I was like, yeah, this is
okay.
This is dead.
Okay, so now at that point, you have 19 months left, right? What's that? What happens next? Like you're saying, you go through this like quiet lull period where it's like, what's next? So when you just start creating. So financially, how do you start making money again? I know you don't need the money because you're covered, but how do you start making money again?
So that took a while. So for a while there, I'm just living off of my savings and I'm creating. I was like, let me just create. And then it's a lot. I had a friend of mine, he lives in Rwanda. So he was getting married and went over there for his wedding. And so he had a friend who I met there very briefly, like hello, moved on. So all these years later, because I was like just after uni. So all these years later, he reached out to me on Facebook and said, I had a gig, like a one-time gig. It was a UNDP related thing. So it was like one reel. It was very little money. I think they gave me like 500K. It was not a big thing. So I did that gig and then he saw it and then he said, oh, we have a youth program, and we're looking for someone who can do like communications, digital, like specifically our social media kind of thing. And I remember just being overwhelmed. Like, why does he think I can do this? I'm just creating reels and stuff. Like, come on. So I was like, okay, I mean, let's talk. And then we talked, and I was even more overwhelmed because I was like, I feel like an imposter. I was like, why does he think I can do this work? I'm just a lawyer who doesn't practice law. He's just out here creating
a hair care
reels.
professional who doesn't sell hair products.
I'm like, why does he think I can do this?
Yeah.
He's like, no, say I saw this thing that you did and I thought it was really good. And I was like, oh, that's a lot of trust. And then he told me, you know what, let's just do like a trial period, 1 month. They were going to pay me for that 1 month. I was like, what's going to happen? Like, I can do it. I can give it my best and see what happens. So we did 1 month. They were going to pay me, they gave me a trial. That 1 month they were giving me $300. When was the last time I had made $300? I said, let's go. And then...
what's that in UGX? But you just continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we did that. And a month in, I was like, oh, actually, I can do this. Like, I know how to manage social media. I know how to do like digital comms.
An idea. 1 million. 1.7. Okay.
There we go.
So basically $1 million shillings is you got UGX is what you have been given.
It had been a minute. It had been a minute since I'd made a solid 1 million. So I was like, let's do it. So we did that. And yeah, I was like, actually, I can do this work. And they liked me. They were like, we'd love for you to stay. And I was a contractor, and it was based in Tanzania. So I was working remotely, even better. I said, okay, let's do it. And that became the thing that held me as I figured out what was going to happen next. Actually, at that time, I wasn't even thinking about anything else. I was just like, let me do this job, And I loved the flexibility. So I just focused on that for 3 years. So it wasn't a 9 to 5, but in a way it was, because it was consistent. So they kept on just like renewing my contract. They gave me a little bit, and they increased my pay at some point to $500. So like I had something consistent.
Uh-huh. And what are you doing with your money at that point? Because you're still having your savings, or do you stop dipping into your savings and now you're living off of this?
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay, so I remember when I got this job, that's when I opened a dollar account because they were paying me in dollars.
Yeah.
So I opened a dollar account. So this side, there's my UGX. So again, still had fear of money. So my dollar account is just sitting. They put money in it sits because I still have this money. And when this money starts to dwindle, now we start tapping this side. Now, as we are tapping this side, I'm like, where am I going? Somewhere in there. I just, what's the plan? What is the plan? And then I think through a series of events, I met a lady who is a financial advisor. And she pursued me. That's the funny thing. She pursued me. We went to this event and she just pursued me. She had seen me online and she kept on reaching out to me. And she's like, you remember when we talked and you said you don't know what to do with your money? Let's sit down. It took a whole year for us to meet.
Yeah.
And then finally I met her. And she's like, I want to help you. She's like, I know you think I only work with people who have lots of money, whatever. She's like, but I'm seeing more and more people like you cropping up. You have like this way you work that's different. It's kind of freelance. It's different. But I think that we can create plans to help you just manage your money better. So she was the first person I really sat down and talked about money with, and just got uncomfortable and dived in. And so she started telling me about, all these, insurance companies now have like these policies you can invest in. And around that time, because now we had started the podcast, The Unpopular Opinion. And what was that? The second year is then when we, the second year is when we got to talking with FX Pesa, and there was like another level of learning about, there's like a whole other thing. And all this time I was really nervous. I kept on thinking, so like then your money goes there and then now what happens? How do I track? How do I make sure that I had so many uncertainties around all of this stuff. But that was the beginning of understanding that my money sitting in the bank is such a waste. Like I'm actually wasting my effort that I am putting into my work. And that's when I started to, put in place like, there's a 5-year policy here. This is how much money I'll be paying into it every month. There's this policy over here. This is what I'll be doing with it. That was really the beginning for me. And I was so nervous. I kept thinking, so how do I know? How do I know that after these 5 years come? Like what's going to happen? I needed her to like literally hold my hand like a 3-year-old. I'm like, explain to me like I'm just a baby and tell me exactly where does this coin go? What does it mean? What does it mean after 5 years?
Yes.
So yeah.
Where does that fear come from, or where does that thinking come from? Because I mean, logically, of course, if someone explains it logically, it does make logical sense. So where is your fear coming from? Where does it stem from?
I think it was from my beginnings. My beginnings were my parents take care of money. That's not my area. So when I got older and I had to take care of money, it just felt very, what do I even do with it? Let me just put it in the bank. And we know that I am working and there is money there. And I go there to pick it, to pay for rent, and I pay for things. And it felt like I always used to feel like if there was someone who could manage money for me, like, is there a way that I can just be like...
So you want now like a parent, but just for money?
Just like, thanks. I'm just like, I don't even want, I didn't realize like if you treat money like that, it also is doing the same thing to you. It's also like, yeah.
Okay. So how has your career then evolved? Where are the different ways you're making money now?
Right. So let's see. Couple of things. I mean, now, let me start with just like Mimi, because I have the like Fiona Kemi brand of its own. So I create content and sometimes I make money from it. It's not, every single, how it is. It's not.
How is it actually? Because I've had two different experiences that content creators in Uganda have given me. So one, which was essentially a good contract would probably be about 1.8 million UGX or 3.5. A good contract would be about 3.5.
What, per month?
Yeah, per month.
Okay.
3.5 million. Wait, hold on. 125K. So that's 3.5. And then the other one was 7. Yeah. So one experience was about 3.5 million a month, which would be a good contract. And the other one was about 7 million a month and consistently. Then, so one content creator said for them, maybe you're getting 2 or 3 good deals a year.
Okay.
The other content creator or person with a content creator space said for them, they were able to get into a space where they had a year-long contract and be able to get good money. So what's been your experience?
Okay, so I've experienced both. I mean, I started from literally just affiliate program and you get, like those 10Ks are just coming in, And then I can imagine those people must be in different points in their journey. So where I'm now in 2025 is, I don't know, each year, there's maybe 3 really good contracts, like the good ones. There'll be other small ones scattered, but maybe like 3 really good ones. And if it's, and when I say really good, even really good, it literally has levels. There is a really good where you're making like 4 million per month, Uganda shillings. Then there's like a really good where you're getting like 7 million. And that's the really good that, I don't know, maybe people are seeing more than that. That's the most I've seen like in a month. So there's that part. So that's one part of where my money comes from. And then there's Khama Digital. So Khama Digital is a company we started
with the Unpopular Opinion podcast.
Yes. So it started from, we created the podcast, and then like all these creators started to come up, like really talented young people. But they were making the mistakes we did when we just started out, because we didn't know, you don't know how to show up professionally. You don't know how to build organic audiences. People are taking advantage of you because, well, you don't know. You don't have contracts. You're making deals on WhatsApp or phone calls. And, there's like this really fluid, hobby-like feel. And yet people actually want to make money, and you have to treat it like a job if you're actually going to make some money. And so we said, okay, can we create like meaningful curriculum that actually teach people how to do this properly? So that's how Khama Digital came in. I won some seed money, like a micro grant to start Khama Digital. It was like, the micro grant was like approximately 7 million Uganda shillings, 7 to 8 million, because it was in euros, so 7 to 8 million. And then that's how we started Khama. We created our first curriculum. And so we sell the course, like we'll have a first cohort, and then people register, they come in, and then we'll have another cohort. And now we're building other products to sell alongside, because we're now a year and a half maybe. So now we're building other products around content, all of them around content, whether it's content for small businesses or, how do you manage social media, all of these things. So that's my other thing.
How big are the cohorts?
Oh,
I'm also trying to understand
not that big. Let's see. Our cohorts are usually like 30 to 35 people. Yeah, that's the biggest we've gotten so far. And then, so that's Khama Digital. And then I don't know if this counts as well, because now like I have like, like policies where my money is growing and like it's over there.
Right.
So that counts. So there's that. And yeah, that is those are my income streams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And so and in terms of like investment, like you've already told us about the different policies and different whatever's you're exploring. Are you trying any other like entrepreneurship? I've heard a couple of people talking about farming and lands and stuff like that. Are those places you're exploring as well?
No, I do as well. You were saying it. I remembered. I think one asset that I invested in is land. I have my one piece of land, and I think I remember like even just talking to my financial advisor about it. Like, okay, so now this land is here. So now do I just keep it? Do I sell it tomorrow so that I can invest in other things or what? And then she was like, oh no, there was a question of, where is it located and what does the appreciation of that area look like and all of the things. And then, through a conversation, she came to the conclusion that I needed to wait. Like that was not something I needed to sell today based on where I am and what money I have coming in. She was like, no, that needs to wait. There's a certain point where I feel will be the right time and then we'll do this.
Okay.
I very much depend on advice. I do not mess around now with trying to think I know money very well. I'm getting to know money better. I'm getting to respect and not be so afraid. I feel like now, the bank doesn't scare me anymore. So I don't have to explain to you that I actually was afraid of banks. Like I didn't even like passing by banks. I would just like pass the side and just like, I didn't want to be near banks. They just gave me anxiety. I never, it was so strange. Even back then I would be like, why am I so uncomfortable? But I never addressed it. So I feel like that's where my money is coming from. I remember when I first met her, we went through like a process of discussing what is my risk
averse or your risk appetite.
Yes, what is my risk appetite? And I'm a medium whatever. So I'm definitely not high risk. I'm also not too, conservative, but I'm just like very okay, take me through it. What does this mean? So I think that's probably why I'm not doing anything too crazy.
Okay.
I'm not, Bitcoin and all these things. I'm just like, give me a minute. So I'm just kind of like, I'm doing what I can where I'm at. I definitely have some way to go.
Okay.
I definitely have some way to go. I think when I think about stuff like, how maybe someone will save to go for a holiday or save to do a thing. I think I'm not good at giving myself things. Yeah. And sometimes I think people around me think it's because I'm just really smart with money. I don't know. I don't think it's that. I just haven't learned how to give myself things. I'm still very like, oh, okay, so then the money's doing that. Okay, let's just leave it alone. And I'm still figuring out, even my fear is not really like completely done. I think I'm almost indifferent now. I'm just like, I guess we're just here and this is doing that. But now I guess I'm coming into a place of, okay, so now money must do things for me. How do I do the thing that for me that I haven't grasped that one yet.
Okay, but made progress clearly.
Yes.
Made progress clearly. Okay.
Oh, lots.
All right. As you wrap up, tell me, if there's one thing you could change about your money journey or your money story, what would it be?
Oof. It would be, like I have this thing, I've always been like very inclined towards youth, like that group of like from university age, like from 18 to, I don't know, like maybe 25. You know, when they say the frontal lobe would develop.
Yes, I had fully developed 24, 25.
That's the one. I've always had like a leaning towards, even in like the places I've served, I've always been drawn towards how do I serve youth. I wish that those people in that age bracket, I wish that when I was in that age bracket, I'd had more intentional like teaching about money. At the time, just like you have pocket money, whatever, it was this vibe. I wish that I'd had like someone to tell me, like now when I see all of these possibilities, I'm like, oh man, even the little I had then, if I had known that I could have done something with it, I'd be in a very different place now, actually. It seemed like little because I didn't know it could do anything. But if she had been doing something, the 35-year-old me would actually be benefiting from the little that I had then. So I wish we had just talked about money. And I'm not in like why didn't the parents and the teachers tell us? They were also doing what they, that was the standard of the time. But they were doing what we did then. So I love to see young people who know about money. I love to see, like, it makes me very happy to see that they're understanding it better. I'm like, they could be in a much more secure place in their 30s than I am now. I'm still figuring out so much. So that's what I wish for. I wish we had just like, and even like beyond the 18 to 25 bracket, I wish that as kids, I wish that now, or let me just wish for these guys where they're now. I hope that for them, there's more open conversations, just like these little things of, I love seeing online when people have sort of like things in place where, the kids do this and this is kind of how we show them allowance, and like just teaching them basic little things about what money is and why it's something you shouldn't be detached from, because I felt very detached from money and what it does and its purpose, its goodness, badness, all of the things. It didn't feel like it was my concern at all. I think if kids are more aware of it, then maybe they'll be able to do even better in their 18s and 19s and so on.
Yeah, I hear you. How clearly, if you're in your mid-30s now, how clearly do you remember being 20?
I mean, like on a scale of 1 to 10?
Yeah, no, like I mean, like in terms of like a time frame, does it just feel like yesterday being 20? It feels like it's been a while.
Feels like it's been a while. I'm 35. It feels like a while.
Okay. Looking forward now, I mean, if you look back 15 years, you were 20. Looking forward 15 years, you'll be 50.
Huh? I'll be 50 in 15 years. Time is wild. Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, 15 years, 50.
15
Let's
years,
go.
you'll be 50. So, financially speaking,
Yeah.
what do you hope the 50-year-old version of you have another 15 years would have been able to achieve?
That makes me think, yesterday I won't take us on yesterday I was with a friend and we were at a thing and they were at, the person who was like performing asked, like, what's the thing you value most in this world? And oddly enough, her and I said peace at the same time. I value peace over probably anything. I don't want to be breaking my back at 50. I don't want to be, this running around I'm doing now, I don't want to be doing that. I would really like to be retired at 50. But I would like to be retired, by then, hopefully, like I have children and I'm married and, there's like solid things in place for them, of course, to be taken care of. And I'm just doing what I love. Not that I'm not making some money, but not this one, we are chasing it. We are pursuing it. We're in hot pursuit, okay? So I don't want to be in a hot pursuit. I want to be in a place where I have that security.
Yeah.
I remember there was a time on the PPJ podcast, Pumla was talking about that to be financially secure means that you are able to take care of yourself at your standard of living without any source of income, like your income sources have all been cut off, and where you are right there, you're able to take care of yourself at your normal standard of living for, did she say 5 years? It skipped my mind, but I think she said 5 or something. And I looked at my things that I have in my life. I was, I'm not financially secure. I want to be financially secure at that time. Yeah, I can't. Ooh, I don't want to be chasing.
Yeah.
I would like just be like, taking a breath.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on Financially Incorrect. Thanks for sharing your story so candidly as well and just giving us that experience of what it's like. I mean, I think I've definitely picked up a thing or two. I'm 100% sure if you watch this, you've picked up a thing or two. And if you haven't, I don't know what to say.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah, but thanks so much for coming. And thank you so much for watching Financially Incorrect Uganda edition. We will see you in 2 weeks for the next episode of Financially Incorrect Uganda.